students. Hello students. Today we will learn about quantitative genetics. As the term is self-explanatory, that means quantitative genetics. Let's know about polygenic inheritance. Polygenic inheritance means inheritance of those traits which is determined by more than one genes. In addition, this kind of inheritance is also heavily affected by environmental factors. Usually, polygenic traits are described as quantitative traits, which means traits that are quantifiable in nature and present as a continuum in a population and not as black as and white categories. A good example of polygenic trait is height in a population. Height of an individual is determined by many genes present across multiple chromosomes, and since it can be measured and people of a population can be arranged in increasing or decreasing order, this is quantitative trait. Other examples are skin color in humans, yield of agricultural crops like this, etc. RS factor in humans is another polygenic trait. It needs some explanation. The RS factor involves three different pairs of alleles located on three different loci on homologous chromosome pair 1. Possible genotype types will have one C or capital C or small c, and one capital D or small d, and one capital E or small e from each chromosome. For example, capital C D capital C capital D capital E, or small c small d small e, or capital C small d capital E by small c capital D small e, or small c small d small e by small c small d small e, and capital C capital D small e by capital C small d capital E, etc. Every genotypic combination with capital D or capital D small d is classified as Rh plus. Every genotypic combination with small d is classified as Rh factor, Rh negative factor. A related but distinct concept from polygenic inheritance is multifactorial inheritance. It refers to the inheritance pattern that is affected by several factors, not necessarily genetic, environmental too, and may not show continuous variations as shown by other polygenic inheritance. A good example is coronary artery disease, which may be caused by a number of factors that increase the risk of disease onset. The factors include obesity, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high level of low density lipoprotein, cholesterol, and even gum disease. Although coronary artery disease run in families, it does not show Mendelian inheritance patterns and can occur in isolation. Now, let's know about heritability and its measurements. One important question in biology is that whether observed variation in a particular trait is due to genetic or environmental factors, sometimes referred to as nature versus nurture debate. Heritability is a concept that summarizes how much of variation in a trait is due to variation in genetic factors. The individuals of a population vary from each other because of both genes and environmental factors, and also because of various interactions between genes and environmental factors. Heritability is defined as the proportion of phenotypic variation VP, that is due to variation in genetic values VG. The effect of particular allele on a trait depends on the allele's frequency in the population and the effect of each genotype that includes the allele. This is sometimes termed as the variation effect of an allele. There are two measures of heritability: broad sense heritability and narrow sense heritability. Let's know about broad sense heritability. S square equals to Vg divided by Bp. This measure gives the proportion of phenotypic variation due to genetic values that may include effects due to dominance and epistasis. Dominance and epistatic variation is not additive because in these cases some alleles or genes will suppress or interact with the effect of others. Broad heritability is much used when the focus is on psychological traits, as one is interested in what is the total genetic contribution to these traits. Personality traits, cognitive performance, alcoholism, and mental disorders like schizophrenia, and some traits that can be and have been studied using this measure of heritability. Now let's know about narrow sense heritability. H square equals to VA divided by VP. This measure gives only the proportion of genetic variation due to additive genetic values VA. VA can be defined as the sum of the average effects of all the alleles of an individual carriers. For trait other than psychological traits, mostly narrow sense heritability is used, such as in breeding of domestic animals and plants, because response to artificial selection depends on additive genetic variance. A heritability measure close to 1.0 will mean that almost all variation in the population results from variation in genotypes and nearly nothing from environment. A heritability measure close to 0.0 for trait will mean that almost all variation is due to environmental variation. Heritability can be estimated from simple design such as correlation of offspring and parental phenotype and the difference in correlation in monozygotic and dizygotic twin pairs. Okay, monozygotic means one single pair and dizygotic means twin pair. In twin studies, identical, that means monozygotic twins, share the same genotype while non-identical dizygotic twins do not. If monozygotic and dizygotic twins have equally similar environments, the difference in the correlations may be expected to be due to differences in genotype. H square equals to Vg by Vp. Monozygotic twins may be treated more similarly to each other than dizygotic twins. If this is the case, heritability can be overestimated. Adoption studies may compensate for some of these difficulties, as twins that are reared apart can be expected to live in equally similar environments. In this method, those twin pairs are studied that were either reared together or reared apart. Here the heritability equation becomes S square equals to VTRA minus VT RT divided by VT-RA, where VT-RT equals to variation in monozygotic twins reared apart together. VRTA, that means variation in monozygotic twins reared. One should note that heritability is not proportion of a phenotype that is genetic, rather the proportion of phenotypic variation that is due to genetic factors. Heritability is a population parameter and therefore it depends on population specific factors such as allele frequencies, the effects of gene variations and variations due to environmental factors. Heritability estimation is being used widely from evolutionary biology to agriculture to human medicine. Many psychological characteristics also being investigated through heritability measurements. Now let's know about QTL mapping. Quantitative traits are those traits which are affected by multiple genes. These genes could be located on a single chromosome or at the multiple sites across many chromosomes. These genes were termed polygenes by Mather, by the scientist named Mather in 1949, and traits are called polygenic traits. One example is height in humans. These polygenes are now referred by a more catchy acronym QTL, that means quantitative trait loci, a term first coined by the scientist named Juderman in 1975. A quantitative trait locus is defined as a region of the genome that is associated with an effect on a quantitative trait. QTLs identify a particular region of the genome containing a gene that is associated with the trait being studied. It makes use of molecular marker technology. In QTL mapping, it is first to find that whether there is a linkage between a molecular marker and the gene of interest or not. Where such linkage occurs, the marker locus and the QTL will co-segregate. Therefore, the basic principle of determining whether a QTL is linked to marker is to proportion the mapping population into different genotypic classes based on genotype at the marker locus and apply correlative statistics to determine whether the individuals of one genotype differ significantly with the individuals of other genotype with respect to the trait being measured. Situations where gene failed to segregate independently are said to display linkage disequilibrium. QTL mapping thus depends on linkage disequilibrium. QTL mapping is the statistical study of the alleles that occur at a locus and the phenotypes that they produce. Statistical analysis is required to demonstrate that different genes interact with one another and to determine whether they produce a significant effect on the phenotype. Now, let's know about the objectives of QTL mapping. First is to identify the region of the genome that affect the trait of interest, and second is to analyze the effect of QTL of the trait. That means 3 points are there here. How much of the variation of the trait is caused by a specific region? Second point is what is the gene action associated with the QTL? Third is which allele is associated with the favorable effect. Now let's know about this requirement for QTL mapping. A suitable mapping population generated from phenotypically contrasting parents. Second is a saturated linkage map based on molecular markers. Third is reliable phenotypic screening of mapping population. Fourth is appropriate statistical packages to analyze the genotypic information in combination with phenotypic information for QTL detection. Now let's know about types and size of mapping population. Random mapping populations are more difficult for QTL mapping because linkage disequilibrium is a key to detecting QTLs with marker. It is essential to develop a suitable experimental mapping population using parental lines that are highly contrasting phenotypically for the target trait. Another should be requirement is that these parental lines genetically divergent. This is important to enhance the possibility of identifying a large set of polymorphic markers that are well distributed across the genome. Next is, let's know about statistical methods for QTL mapping. First point is single factor analysis of variation. It is extensively used especially for isozyme. SF ANOVA is done for each marker locus independent of information from other loci. F-test provide evidence whether differences between marker locus genotype classes are significant or not. It is computationally simple but suffers from major limitations. Next is the likelihood of QTL detection significantly decreases as the distance between the marker and QTL increases. The method cannot determine whether the marker are associated with one or more QTLs. The effects of QTLs are likely to be underestimated because they are confounded with recombination frequencies. Second point is simple interval mapping, that is SIM, was first proposed by Lander and Botstein in 1989 and it takes full advantage of linkage map. The method evaluates that target association between the trait values and the genotype of a hypothetical QTL, that means targeted QTL at multiple analysis points between pair of adjacent marker loci. The presence, that means the target interval, presence of a putative QTL is estimated if the log of odds ratio, LOD score, exceeds a critical threshold. Two more interval mapping were later developed, that is composite interval mapping, that is CIM in short, and multiple interval mapping, that is in short MIM, multiple interval mapping, MIM. The interval approach is superior to the ANOVA approach in terms of both localization and estimation of the effects of QTLE. Besides the QTL mapping methods described, several statistical packages for QTL analysis are available. Some commonly used ones are MapMakers or QTL cartographers, QTL mappers, and QGene. While the methods for QTL analysis provide us with information about the putative locations and effects of QTLs influencing a quantitative trait, these do not tell us anything about molecular nature of the QTL. However, identification of putative QTL locations and DNA markers linked to QTLs have opened up opportunities for isolation and molecular characterization of QTLs via map-based cloning. Completed. Thank you.